What's up, everybody? My name is Jason. I am a high school principal. I am not a plumber, but today we are going to be working on a tub. Specifically, what we're going to do is we're going to be changing out the stem valves in the handles on our shower. Currently, the issue that we're encountering here is that when the shower is turned on, there's still a little bit of water coming out of the faucet. That isn't good. You're going to be wasting quite a bit of water that's not getting up to the shower head. It's just going straight down the drain. Secondly, depending on whether it's hot or cold water that's coming out of the faucet, it's going to have an impact on your water temperature coming out of the shower head. So the system that we're going to be working on today is a Price-Pfister shower system. And the Price-Pfister shower system has two different sized stem valves depending on the system itself. One of those stem valves could be 4 1/4 inches in length. The other size stem valve could be 5 1/2 inches in length. You definitely want to make sure you take one of the stems out and measure it ahead of time, so you make sure that you order the right sized stem valves. Last thing you want to do is get the stem valve too long, because then your handles and everything are going to be sticking out real far from the wall. Or, God forbid, you go the other way, the handles won't even fit onto the valve because it's not long enough to reach. So we're going to take a look at those here in just a few minutes. I'm going to show you both how to remove them. I'm going to show you how to replace them. I'm going to show you how to put it all back together. Again, I'm not a professional. I don't do plumbing for a living. I'm a high school principal. So I just want to show everybody else that with a little bit of practice and a few YouTube videos, you can do pretty much whatever you come across at home. So we're going to get started here in just a minute, and we'll start by taking a look at the system we're working with today. Okay, one more thing before we get started. We're not going to be using a whole lot of tools today. You're only going to need a Phillips screwdriver, a flathead screwdriver, and it's much easier to get the valve stems out if you use valve stem sockets. You can use channel lock pliers or an adjustable wrench, but it is a lot easier with a set of these. And the set that I have, purchased on Amazon, they're a DuraTech brand. I think I paid $17.50 for them. I will have the price listed here later as I'm working on the job. So this is a very easy job to do. Again, we don't need a whole lot of tools. So we're going to turn the camera around here in just a second, and we're going to take a look at what we're dealing with today. All right, so one more thing before we get started. I know it's always one more thing, right? I talked about these in my last video. These are made by Braun. I got them at Harbor Freight. They are a neck light. Like I said, I usually wear them up here. Makes it a lot easier to work with, and it allows me to keep my hands free and not have to be holding a flashlight. So anytime I'm doing work where I need to have a little bit of light or see what I'm doing, I love using these. Didn't mean to blind you there. All right, so we're going to go ahead and turn this camera around now, and we're going to get started. All right, so here's our 3-handle system. Usually we're going to see showers in a couple different setups. Either there'll be like one handle here in the middle that has hot, cold, and then you have a plug, a knob that you pull to divert the water up to the shower head. In our shower, we've got 3 separate handles, with the diverter being the one in the middle. This is the one that's actually causing me problems right now, but I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change out all 3 because I don't know how long it's been since any of these have been changed out. So let's go ahead and get started. First thing we want to do is we want to pop these little buttons out right here. Okay? These 3 little buttons are going to give us access to the valves. Of course, before we can get to the valves, we have to take the handles off. And we can go ahead, we can just use a Phillips head screwdriver to do that. I'm going to go ahead and start with the one in the middle. And take that off. We'll do the same thing with each side. Once you've got those off, the next thing you can do is just unscrew each of these sleeves and take these collars off as well. Alright, this middle one's kind of tight, so just going to have to work with it until you get it loose. There we go. Just keep working on it until it finally comes loose. All right, we've got all three of them off. Now, typically, you might have a shutoff valve underneath or on top of your hot and cold sides. Unfortunately for me, I don't have a shutoff valve here. So what I'm going to need to do is I'm going to need to shut the water off to the entire house in order to do this job. So I'm going to go shut the water off to the house, and I'll be back in just a few moments to continue the job. All right, I'm back. I have shut the water off to the entire house, and we are going to go ahead and we're going to get started. All right. So, this particular setup has two different size attachments here. All right. So, as I mentioned before, there's this set of sockets that makes this job a whole lot easier. These are DuraTech. I got them on Amazon for about 17 bucks. They come with 5 different size sockets. Actually 10 different size sockets, because each side of the socket has a different size. And these are they're designed specifically to remove valve stems from showers. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to start with the diverter valve in the middle, because that is the valve that's given us the problems. All right, let's go ahead and get started with this one. These also come with this little stick, this little handle. All right, just fits right through these holes. Makes it a lot easier to turn. All right, we've removed our diverter valve, and just to be sure we've got the right size, I'm going to go ahead and measure it. As you can see, this one measures just about 4 1/4 inches. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to replace that valve first. I searched Amazon, I searched Lowe's, Home Depot, and everywhere else. They were all about the same price. So I happen to have a gift card for Lowe's. So I went ahead and I purchased the valve stems at Lowe's this time. This is a Pfister model number 910-022. And I think I paid about $17.50 for this. So you want to make sure that it says diverter. Otherwise, it's not going to work right. All right, so as we take it out of the box, you're going to notice inside the box you have the valve stem itself. You also have a little white ring. You want to make sure you put that white ring on the valve stem right here. Okay, that's going to act as like a washer for this. Once you've got it out, simply just put it back in, twist it in. It's that simple. That is how easy these are to do. There it is. It is that easy. All right, we've got the shower diverter in. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to replace the hot and the cold valves. We're going to use the same process we used before, only this time we're going to step up from the 30 seconds socket to the 1 and 1/32 socket. All right, that came out real easy. Same thing, when you take these out, there's a black plastic ring. Make sure you put that at the top of the threading. Why does this not want to go back in? There we go. Once it's on, go ahead and get your socket back out and tighten it up. All right, 2 down, 1 to go. And again, one more time, make sure when you take it out of the box, you take that black plastic ring, set it at the top of the threading. Get it on there finger tight, and then use your tool. All right, they're back in. We're going to go ahead and we're going to turn the water on. Make sure we don't have any leaks. Okay, so the water runs. We didn't have water spraying out all over the place. So that tells me that we put them back in correctly. The next thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and we want to get the collars and the sleeves put back on. And then we want to go ahead and we want to close up the valves. Typically when you buy them, they come in the open position. If they're not in the open position, you want to put them in the open position before you install them. That way your handles are out as far as they're going to be when you put them back on, and you can make sure your collars are tightened so they're not too far down and there's a gap between the end of your handle and the end of your sleeve. All right, so let's go ahead and we'll start putting these back together. You don't have to make them super tight either. There we go. We'll go ahead and we'll get the handles on next, and we'll be done. Oh wow, Closes quite a bit. Turns a lot more than my old one did, that's for sure. All right, go ahead and get the last one on, and we'll be done. All right, we're gonna turn the water back on and see what we get. And there we go. We opened up the diverter and the water stopped. That means we fixed it. All right, we're done. That was it. Very, very quick, easy job today. All in all, total time on that one was 15-20 minutes tops. So once again, you don't have to be a plumber to do some of these simple jobs. One thing that is important though is that you are smart enough to know when to turn something over to the professionals. The last thing you want to do is get yourself in a position where you've done some damage that's going to cost even more than if you would have hired a professional from the very beginning. So I'm definitely not trying to take jobs away from, qualified, certified professionals. But a simple job like this isn't necessarily something that you should have to spend a couple $100 to have somebody come out and do for you, if you're comfortable doing it. If you're not comfortable doing it, by all means, call a professional. That's it. We're done.